Problem-based learning with number sequence. The standard I chose was KCCA2. Count forward by ones beginning from any given number within the known sequence, instead of having to begin at 1. The goals for this standard are students will be able to count forward starting at any number, students will be able to demonstrate an understanding of number sequence, and students will be able to recognize and extend number patterns. The objectives are getting the students to verbally count starting from any given number besides 1, give written assignments for students to fill in the missing numbers, and give assessments during class to analyze and check the students' understanding. The first lesson is the dry erase board activity. The learning theory used is constructivist learning theory. The instructional strategies used are student-directed and teacher-directed. The teaching strategies used are cooperative learning and practice. The materials needed are a whiteboard with a number line and a dry erase marker. In this lesson, I will give a number and the students will write down on the marker board what number goes next in the sequence, along with putting it on the number line. They will then turn to a partner, share their answers with each other, and tell me what the correct answer is. For the students struggling, I will do one-on-one time or put the students in pairs with a student that has a higher understanding to help them. I will be using a formative assessment. As the students are doing their work, I will go around and make sure they are getting it. The benchmark for this lesson is that students get at least 85% of the answers right. This is what the dry erase board we would use would look like. The second lesson is a connect the dots. The learning theory that will be used is cognitivism. The instructional strategy that will be used is student-directed. The teaching strategy that would be used is non-linguistic representations, and the materials needed would be a worksheet and crayons. In this lesson, the students will be given a worksheet to connect the dots. The dots will have numbers across the paper, and the students will have to connect them. For example, you would draw a line from 1 to 2 and so on. At the end, it will create an outline for them to color. For the students struggling, I would give them one-on-one time. I will be using a formative assessment. The grading will be based on if the artwork looks accurate. The benchmark would be that all the students complete just the outline. This is what the activity looks like. The third lesson would be a song. The learning theory used would be cognitivism. The instructional strategy used would be student-directed. The teaching strategy that would be used is non-linguistic representations. The materials needed are a projector, TV, or anything that can project something from a computer screen. In this lesson, the students will be played a song or rhyme to apply to their knowledge of counting from different points and to have something catchy they can always relate back to. We will start with the numbers 1 through 20 and then move on once they meet benchmark. For the students struggling, they will get number cards to help them read the numbers and say them. They will also listen to the song multiple times. I will be using a formative assessment. The students will be singing, and I will observe them and give them feedback to make sure they're singing it the correct way. The benchmark will be for them to count to 20 with little to no help. A song I would use would be Count With Me from 1 to 20 by the Singing Walrus. The fourth lesson would be a scavenger hunt. The learning theory used would be the social cognitivism. The instructional strategy used would be student-directed learning. The teaching strategy used would be non-linguistic representations, cooperative learning, and practice. The materials needed are scavenger hunt cards, number lines, and worksheets. In this lesson, the students will be doing a scavenger hunt with cards hanging around the room. The students will be put in pairs so they can go around the room and work together on their scavenger hunt. They will follow clues to discover the next card to go to. The student struggling will get me as their partner or a student that knows what they are doing. The benchmark for this lesson would be for 80% of the lesson to be done by every student. This is an example of what the scavenger hunt in the worksheet would look like. Lesson 5 is an Easter edition. The learning theory would be behaviorism, the instructional strategy would be student-directed, the teaching strategy would be reinforcing effort and providing recognition, and non-linguistic representations. The materials needed would be a big number line on the floor and rewards. This lesson is called the bunny hop. There will be a visible number line on the floor, and the students will have to jump and say the number that is next, kind of like a bunny. Every number they get right, they get a prize. For example, 1 number right equals a small prize, and 10 numbers right equals an even bigger prize. For the students struggling, I would give them one-on-one support and guide them throughout the activity. For this lesson, I'll be doing a formative assessment. As the students are doing the activity, I will analyze them. The benchmark for this lesson would be that the students get through a sequence with little to no help. At the beginning of the lesson, we will start with the number line that is like the left one, and once they get more fluent with that, we'll move to a number line that doesn't have any numbers so they can do it all by themselves. Here's where I received most of my information and where I got my worksheets from.